Well, time for the fun part. So, am I going to have to break the shit out of this? And of course, she is lock solid. I see a spring. I'm looking on my camera right now. And do not see a star wheel. But, oh, what's that on the bottom? What's on that side? Okay, so I tried giving it a little bit of taps with a hammer. Probably not stuck. Well, I mean, it's definitely stuck, but what I mean is it's probably not going to unstuck. These are all loose here. You can see that. But yeah, the drum is locked solid on her. See, I mean, if I could spin it. Hey, wait a minute. Is that No, I'm not that lucky. I thought for a second, I've got to look back. I thought for a second that was the adjuster. About 1 hour later, I got her turning. Look all the rust that fell out of her. And look all the rust that came out of that gas tank onto here, onto there, into there, and onto the floor. But beating the sheets out of her, but she turns now. Well, I decided I do need to get it off because I want to see if this transaxle is good. So, rocking her back and forth, give it a little tappy tap. She's slowly coming off. Let's see how much damage I did. Huh. There's the 2 tabs I seen in the bottom, right there. They're both on here. Cannot adjust this whatsoever. Can't see it. Don't really see my marks. The inside ones both broke. Even though I unbolted it, hey? This thing actually had good brake pads when it was put away. Huh. Oh, she's back together. And believe it or not, the transaxle actually sounds good. So, besides Dodd rubbing, but that's still from in here. But everything sounds to be good, seems to be good. So, I'll know better once I get the whole thing up in there and hook a drill gun to the input shaft and shift it through its gears. Yeah, so definitely differential feels good. So, well, I'm just wondering if you thought the transaxle was bad because this wheel was stuck. I mean, possibly, because turning it through one wheel, like I'm doing right now, would be the same way he tested it. So maybe the bearing on this side's good. Maybe the issue is in the bearing from that wheel. So, but yeah, she seems good. That's all I'm doing today. So she turns over. Well, the wheel's not stuck. That's all I did. Ripped out the brake parts. Now I got a list of what I need and see if I'll buy them. So CIP1, probably like $50 aside for the brakes. Hard to say. Well, it's now another weekend. And that's the other front end I was thinking of throwing on it. But I think I prefer suspension. So as for the Trike frames themselves, there's 2 of them in here. There's one sitting right there. And the other one is cut, but barrels. They do that every time they reach temperature, so still about -5 outside, but somewhere there's another Trike front end, but so much to get done this weekend and not sure what I'm going to get done, but always have to check out how the snow's melting. But the main thing I'm going to do is measure that front end and find out how close it's going to be to fit. I know the tire that's on that front end seems to be a little too wide. It rubs the forks, but I think there's a simple way to fix that. We'll see. Okay, so I just took a quick peek at the one outside, measured. It would take a fair bit. I would actually have to cut out the front off the Trike frame because it is a different length. And I mean, the inside shaft is probably a different length, of course, too. But this is 7.5, where the Trike is 6.5 from here to here. So I'd have to slice off this front, change it. Now, that's a fair bit of work. So I think what I'd do is play around with it with this front end first, and then possibly change it later. Now, yeah, I'm just looking, could I even put these forks on that one? But no, these forks, I'm sure of it, are they're longer, but they're a lot thicker from here to here. So like this thickness, as you can hear in the background, everyone's getting their spring toys out, where mine's still sitting there. Haven't done anything with that. Ooh, front tire's pretty low, but so again, this project here, it's not something that I had planned to work on anytime soon, but I mean, the last video did pretty good, so I might play around with it a bit. I got lots of different engine choices. The question is, do I want to run a Volkswagen engine, or do I want to run a small engine? I'm still thinking of doing a mid-engine swap on it, because I think there's enough room I could fit an engine in here, cut out that floor. I guess it's a floor. I mean, it used to be. Cut out the tunnel a bit there. Do a mid-engine swap. So basically the differential has to be flipped inside the case, and then you flipping the whole case by unbolting it, turning it. It's a long process. You're cutting down these guys here. So then the transaxle would bolt up, and then the back of it would stick out, and then I could have a front connector with a shaft to gear it down if I want to use a small engine. Quite a few ideas. It's just, what do I want to do? How much time do I want to spend? And money-wise, it would be pretty cheap. I already know that. I'm just deciding now. As for the brake components, like under $100 per wheel, I can redo that. I need a master cylinder, the shifter. I don't know what the guy was planning to do with the shifter, if he was going to do like a Ford control style linkage system. I mean, up on top of where the gas tank is. I have no idea. Wow, look at the rust already starting on everything. So that's just being out here. Now it's what, the second weekend? But project for today is to go through the Horde. Actually, this engine would work good on it. 15 horsepower Chonda. But yeah, it's definitely a single port, as you could tell. Now, I do have a fuel-injected, converted to carburetor Type 3 1600 in the city that I might bring out here. That's running. That came off the other dune buggy. Might bring that one out here. Not sure yet. So, because that would be literally bolt in, and it would be ready to go. Mind you, it's been sitting 7 years now, so it might need some work, but we'll see. Okay, so it is a 1350 horsepower model, from what I can understand looking at the VIN number. F0. So that's, I already closed it, but it's what, 68 to 70, I guess. So do I want to bother? I don't know yet. Maybe once I get it on the workbench, take a look at it and we'll see. But yeah, I'm going to start organizing this junk, and had a couple comments on what a waste of time on the last video. But again, the whole point of this video is because I wanted to know what was in this stack of piles, so I could try to look at for model numbers, check compatibility, you could say, and look back without having to physically come in the garage and unbury everything, because all this stuff is going to be placed up there, up there, up there, and it's going to be buried. And what I hate the most is, where did I put it? What box did I put it in? And what was in the boxes? So, I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so I started taking a peek. So this is welded and like custom made. This one's welded. These ones are all welded in spots, right? And this is all bent. So I think that's just a separate 4 headers. And I don't know if I have that right, but I mean, I got an engine I could mock it up on and find out, but it'd be nice to know. Well, I think I see how it goes. I'm not going to show you guys because I'm leaking oil. So, hey, had oil in it. But with all these tins here, I can't really put it on proper. But from what I see, oh, if I can do it proper. Wait. Okay. So that would go, it pretty much goes underneath the engine like this. So, because I was looking at these guys here, And that one fits like that, but not, it won't fit with the tin. And then this guy fits here, kind of. So the only way to know for sure is I'd have to have this up on a stand. But I'm pretty sure I see how it goes. It goes underneath the engine now. That's good to know. Well, I probably would have figured it out pretty quick if I would have turned it upside down. I don't know. That's just scratches I was thinking. But I don't know if this was used. But yeah, that's how it goes together. All the parts are here. And yeah, it goes underneath the engine. So not something I would use for off-roading because, of course, you don't want sparks and everything lighting forest fires. So there's 2 header kits. This would have been the one he would have had on the airplane, I'm sure of it. But maybe not, because it just dumps directly down on the sides. It just doesn't make sense why he would have had these flared. Maybe he just never had time to cut them apart. Who knows? Are you running away, Seda? Just going through the buckets of Volkswagen Hordes, and 2 carburetors, 3 clutches, a couple pressure plates. Yeah. But I have no idea where my thing of starter motors yet. So somewhere I have a bucket full of Volkswagen starter motors, and I mean like 4 or 5 of them. I always thought it was in this bucket. Now that's a crazy rig. You guys see that thing? That's freaking awesome, hey? Just seen that on the way into work this morning. It's another weekend, and yes, we got snow. It's already melting pretty quick. Should be the last snow because it's meant to be high of 20 in the next few days, but all the snow's melted off the roof. Just moved some junk into the tent shed for now, and got a little bit more room in here. I'm tempted to use one of these guys to put a piece of plywood on it, use that to let the engine sit on, but doesn't seem to be any engine oil in her. Should be leaking out of that valve cover. Makes a little bit of a noise. So I just got it hooked on one of the intakes, so of course that's probably not the best way to pick one up, but if it drops, I'm not too worried about it. I just wanted to see if there was water in it, and if there's water in it, it should technically dump. So, and I'm looking here. You see what I mean? Quite a bit of gravel got in there. That's my fault for dragging it in, but look underneath. You see how the push rod tubes are completely rotted out on her. All the exhaust studs are broken. Yeah, those push rod tubes are just completely rotten. So, in my opinion, this engine probably sat without a Volkswagen body on it. Probably just sat directly outside for who knows how long. Every single exhaust stud's broken. I don't even know if I want to bother with it, but again, the crank cases themselves can be bored. Well, I just removed the clutch quickly out of it. I just had it apart. I want to double check before I start hammering on this. I don't have a socket fit on the crank. That's kind of what I was thinking too, because the front one is just turns and I don't want to break it. So I don't have a big enough socket to fit on the back. So now I'm going to be hammering on these springs here. I already did slightly, but I removed the clutch. It's pretty well toast. So that's pretty much garbage anyway. So now I can put in my big pry bar and see what happens. And yes, I did put it up on the oil drum. Works pretty good. Well, it's not going to move with the bar on it. So my first idea was to bolt this heavy machinist plate where this bolts on, but they're just too small. So the other option I have is this overhangs, gut this entire assembly and bolt this onto it. And then I got the bite across it and then hit it with a sludge. Might be my best bet. Yes, might wreck the crank, might break stuff, but when I say hit it with a sludge, I'm kind of talking about the mini sludge. We'll see. I'm not too worried about it with this engine, but I have my mark on here. I just want to see if I could get it to move even a tiny, tiny little bit. And I'm getting nothing. So nothing normally means you would think crank is stuck, because if it's a piston, you would think you'd have a slight amount of play. I guess that's if it's worn out. But could be multiple things stuck. This engine has absolutely no oil in it. So if I really cared, I would take my diesel jerry can there and fill her up with diesel fuel, but I don't want to make a mess. Well, it's now another weekend, slowly moving stuff out of the greenhouse, and there's no snow no more. Well, a little bit, and a little bit of... Oh. But yeah, you can see the snow is pretty much gone, starting to clear out this area, because got to get some stuff in here soon, but deciding to get the quad going. I decided to film a little bit of this. Quad started up perfectly fine, but still quite mucky out here. I don't want to get full of muck. I also don't want to swamp the quad. I did have to charge the battery, so the battery might not start up again, so I'm not going to go fast. Oh, there goes some deer. 2 deer just... Oh, 3 deer. There goes another one. I don't want to go down that trail. I'll meet them down this trail. Sinking. See if I can find a deer down here. Maybe I'll go in all-wheel drive. Oh, there they are. There's the deer. Hey, wait, I don't even see what a deer.
It's right there.
I know, I can't see it. I'm trying to see it on the camera. There it is. Boom, you're dead. How's that?
No.
They're running back the other way. This is just a trail right behind the house. Feels funny, I haven't been down this trail all year. Hell, the last 3 months, 6 months. Start the camera, there's no water really, hey? Besides that, but that wasn't nowhere near as deep as the last shit. Okay, so it's been about a week. Right now, I got tension on here. Lifting up the engine by a bar. A little bit springy, but the engine's not that heavy. But long story short is I don't care about that clutch. And hasn't moved. Again, it's been a week. I tried actually in both directions. So, I'm going to release it. No pressure on that no more. And yeah, hasn't moved off my mark. So, I'm still guessing it's this side because the valves are... that crusty and rusty. Look at that, hey? The two there, or 2 of them were stuck. I don't know if actually they popped out. Not a big deal. They're shot anyway, but yeah, it's the 2 exhaust valves that were stuck. So has to come apart anyway. Spark plug holes don't look too bad, but try to zoom in here. Kind of get an idea what it looks like possibly on the inside of the engine there. So, still see some oil in it. This side here, not so much, but those spark plug holes don't really look the nicest. Like, kind of looks borderline stripped, you could say. As for the other side here, I haven't looked in it, so I'm going to do that now. Because who knows, it could be this side that's stuck, but definitely looks like... Oh, is that spark plug hole stripped? No, they're not really stripped, but... So, did that oil go down? It went down. I had the distributor shaft filled with oil too. See if any would go down, but... Again, she is locked solid, and it might actually be locked solid, not even anything to do with these. Could be the bottom end. The push rod tube, one of them is rotted completely out. So what I'm going to do now is strip it down, pull off the heads, and get a better look in the bottom end. Yes, I could just pull off some access covers, the oil screener, and check that way, but nah, I'll pull off the top end first. Wow, I'm surprised the inside of this carb actually doesn't look that bad. So, nothing's stuck. Huh. I don't think that's working no more. Yeah, lots of shit in there. So, that just broke off. Got the cooler there, or the blower housing. But the thermostat, yeah, most of that would have to be changed. A little bit of tape in here, or I think that's garbage bag. So someone might have had it covered at one time, hey? That oil cooler looks pretty flaky. That would have to be almost definitely replaced. I bet you the O-rings on that are pretty gone, but I don't see any oil damage in here, but or oil signs of oil leaking, but not a big deal. Well, so far I could say I'm glad this never broke free. That is literally plugged with garbage. This head bolt, the whole stud came out, and look at the corrosion on that. Is that actually showing up? There's about 30% loss minimum. I'm surprised that didn't snap. So, yeah. It's weird. It's the only one that didn't suck up penetrating oil. But, not a big deal. Again, I don't plan to use anything off this engine, really. I'm just pulling it apart just for the hell of it, you could say. Well, had to resort to bashing the shit out of the cylinder head to get it off. It's interesting. One good looking valve and the rest are rusty. Huh. Yeah. So, she is pretty corroded. All those head studs have to be changed, definitely. That piston kind of looks like it's one piece with the rest of it. So, yeah. But, long story short is I had to resort to beating the shit out of the intake and shattering it into pieces. Not intake, single port. So, yeah. That could go right in the garbage. It's the only way I was getting it off. I tried the best I could, started breaking fins, which is normal, but that's why most people replace all of this when they do anything on these guys. As for the pistons, look at the shit that's in there, hey? Even if it would have broke free, it would have been a nightmare. I wonder if the other side's as bad. Who knows? That's like filled with sand. You guys see that? It looks like freaking sand. Yeah. You're not really seeing the justice, but there's a 1/4 inch of slime in there. Look at that, hey? The problem is, I don't think I'm going to get these guys to move to get them off very easy. Should really move my tools from under there first, hey? Oh, yummy. But don't flip and hit the motorcycle. Yeah. I think I'll need to clean all that shit. Ugh. Don't laugh too hard. Yeah. Good news is, bottom end looks pretty decent anyway. Piston is loose now. Can't really see it, but it slides back and forth. took a lot of beating. This one here being stuck all the way in, the idea is to get the cylinder out when this one moves. Oh yeah, that's a pretty good hole there. And looks not rusty in the bottom end. Sprayed some penetrating oil, shot through to hopefully get the other cylinders. So now, if the other side is not stuck, when I press this one in, this guy should come out. Because it's loose. I don't know. So, and yeah, that cylinder was very, very bad. Well, sure enough, it turns out it's stuck on this side too. I thought I was getting movement out of it, but now it doesn't seem to have any movement. I don't really want to force it. So, sucks because that piston's all the way down. This one's all the way up. If they were in between, it would make it a hell of a lot easier. Well, good news is this side's coming off nicely. Just put a block of wood here, gave it a hit. Starting to come off on both sides. I can see a gap starting, so at least I'll have one good cylinder head, possibly. Besides the fact that both of those fucking screws broke off in there. And that's stripped from the previous owner. That sucks. One thing I do say that sucks is every few seconds, every few seconds I gotta stop, clean my hands to pick up my phone. So this cylinder is definitely not stuck because it's actually sliding off. This one here is full of grime. So, but that one there, yeah, not stuck. That's a good bonus. So, these push rod tubes on this side were not rotted out, but again, something you never reuse in my opinion. So, it's looking better. It's looking better. Don't think I'm getting any movement out of her yet. We'll know in a few minutes. Well, starting to think it's the crank itself that's frozen. I got one cylinder left. That's loose, but I can only get about that much motion out of the flywheel, and it's hammering it with a pry bar, you could say. So I'm kind of thinking the crank's frozen. I could pull off this guy, pull off the oil pump, access panel, and possibly spray her down, but at the same time, if the crank's frozen, I do got all new bearings, a spare crank. Well, I guess I'm gonna attempt to take the cylinder off in 2 pieces. The only problem is when you break this, it's like a freaking bullet. You should hear it when it hits the ceiling. And yes, a face mask and shield, but I'm not. So we'll see. Well, this is going on about 3.5 hours. Still on the last cylinder. It's just about popped off now. As you've seen, I had to shatter it into pieces because I was too lazy to install a block of wood in the cylinder. So I just shattered it. And I'm doing it in a way that I'm not pressing on the case. So a little bit of tension on the cylinder that's loose this way, and then smacking it with a sludge. And piston used to be right here, so it's definitely moving a fair bit. Problem is, it's still seized, so it probably has a bearing that might have spun. It's really hard to say, but thing is, I got to get off these cylinders to split the cases. Well, at least on one side anyway. Well, I got the cylinder off. Yeah, that one came out in pieces. Already went to the dump, got rid of the other ones, but so out of that, I got one cylinder head that came off in one piece, one cylinder that came off in one piece that's in workable shape, and technically a piston still on there, but yeah, most of the pistons came off very, very, very rough, besides that one. But even that one there is like stuck. But, you know, one cylinder head, better than nothing. Because I got a pair of cylinder heads there. One of those is good, one of them's not. And cylinders up there, so if I use the cylinders I have, I got to machine the cases big enough to fit them. And the cylinders are also, I believe, set for those. I don't know, maybe the old ones are. I have to check through things, but so this one here, it being a 1300, I can without having to machine anything, I could just buy a 1600 set for it. But I'd probably want a dual port intake. So a new set of heads. So if I do that, everything, it's still going to be like $1,500 in parts, minimum 1,500. So I got to kind of think for a bit and decide which route I want to go with her. Oh, and I should say it's still locked up solid, even though all the cylinders are off, so definitely something going on in the bottom end. So I just gave it one hell of a good spray of penetrating oil. Might have actually got the motorcycle a bit too, but let it sit another week and go from there. Next week I'll split the case and just get an idea. Again, I have no clue if I'm going to use this block because I already have a Type 3 engine, 1600, that is running. But it'd be nice to get the standard Volkswagen type. What's this considered, 1 or 2? I don't even remember. So, but again, it's just stuff that once I know what it needs, will probably be put in a box. I'll make a list, and then might become a winter project, or maybe I'll do it this spring. Again, it's something that I'm really not sure of, and just have to wait and see. Then there's the other one I was talking about that I have, and of course security's going off, but yeah, that's the other guy. Probably bring that to my house next weekend, including the transaxle up there, maybe some diesel engines and all the other parts there, and a brand new cylinder head for the Land Cruiser. Well, it almost seems like spring. A little bit of snow right there, and a little tiny bit in the front, but even where I blew it on the tractor, it's gone. Oh, that's not a good thing. All the oil looks like it said goodbye. Yeah, have to dig out that ground, put it into a fire pit, burn it, or bury it, one of the two. But I think I'm going to put the big tiller on this guy, take off the snow blower. Thinking that's where I'm going to start. That tiller right there. Hey, look, that's not buried anymore. A little bit of water in the bucket has to be taken out of there, but oh, a little bit of snow right there. But other than that, everything looks to be pretty clear. I might put the mower deck on the diesel, but kind of thinking that's a smaller mower deck. I don't know the condition of it. Probably needs belts. But being a smaller one will probably work better on the diesel. Those tires have to be taken off this thing. And a lot of the horde has to be gone through. But it's starting to look a lot like spring. Okay, so this popped off the old snow blower, and yeah, the tube is virtually almost playing peekaboo on this tire. Surprisingly, I maybe filled it up once in the last calendar year, so I'm going to glue a giant patch over it, and the idea is just to try to get a little bit more time out of it. I don't actually know if the tube is sticking through, but I mean, it's just going to continue as long as I don't put a loader on it, put any heavy pressure on it like the snowblower. It should last a while. The only issue is, where the hell did I put my sheet of rubber? I had rubber that would be perfect for going over that. And as for the tires, I do have a set of tires. I'm not going to see them because I know they're buried in the far quarter there somewhere. Behind all that shit, I got a set of tires that will fit it. But they're on rims that will not fit this, so I gotta swap them over. So maybe I'll buy new, but somewhere in the horde I got a chunk of rubber that I need to find. The only rubber I could find, little tiny chunks, and that's nowhere near big enough. And I do got some rubber cement and normal bicycle tube patches, but hey, not what I'm looking for, but that's rubber. And a little bit thicker than what I need. Does a great job in the garden, that's for sure. Making the beds a little bit bigger. Does a great job. And I don't think there's ever a need to go any more than idle doing this. I mean, she's fitting good enough. Got a bunch of little little beds to do in here and quite a ways to do. Well, the tilling went good, so the garden's all tilled up. And I'm going to get back to making some room in here. Again, not too sure what I'm going to do with this guy just yet. She's still locked up solid, but slowly cleaning off the workbench here. There's a shot of the cylinder head that's most likely still pretty good. That's the one cylinder that came off in one piece, and there's one good-ish piston. I'll probably not save it. Like, what's the chance that I wouldn't just buy a new cylinder kit? But that single port head is worth keeping. Even though the threaded hose for the exhaust looks pretty shitty on it, but it's still worth keeping. But it's this set of heads here that I want to go over and probably use, possibly. But because these here look to be very decent shape. You could see they were used, but at the same time they seem to be in decent shape. So one of them had a stripped spark plug hole. Oh no, that was the other set. These ones here, oh no, that one's pretty stripped out right there. Not sure if that's showing up. Try with zoom. Ooh, switch cameras. No, it's not going to look in there, but not sure if that's showing up, but still definitely could be used. Oh, you got a buggered up eyeball. Ooh. Yeah, you did something you shouldn't have did. This eyeball looks good. Huh. I mean, interesting. I guess this is why you don't just squish a bird. There he is. You see that? He's up on the ledge with one eyeball. Had to go get a replacement lock for the community center. Had to cut one off this morning because the person failed to bring a key. And of course, looking at the Horde. Nice ass rims, tires, no tread. Holy shit. Oh, that one has a little... Ooh. Was it that bad when I got it? I don't really know. Air in them still. It's probably the issue. But sorting out the Horde. I was looking, so there's no way easily to put that style transmission on that guy without changing the whole spring plate assembly. So I'm still thinking I'm going to keep the reduction hubs because, you know, then I can run big ass tires. And just kind of still, I know it sounds boring, but still kind of deciding what I want to do with this guy exactly. See, the original idea when I got it was to rip it right down to the bare frame and do everything from scratch. New seats, tear off the galvanized tin and replace that with something better. But I mean, technically galvanized is fine, but those tires are still good. You got to spray them down with some protection, you could say. But what I might do for now is put on shitty tires, like those big ass ones there will probably fit for now because they're already shot, and get these tires inside because they still look minty. Sun is killing them. I got a brand new set of tires sitting there. That's from the old LT500 Suzuki quad. So the Quadzilla, that's where those tires came from. You know, I never even decided to look at it. Yeah, it works pretty good. It's kind of peeling off a little bit on the lip there. Again, that was just to stop gravel from getting in there, puncturing the tube. Again, lots of tread left on these tires, but dry rotting. All the tires are dry rotting on everything. And I do not want to spend thousands of dollars to replace them, that's for sure. Okay, see if he's gonna...
Oh, hi, sweetheart.
Oh, no, where are you going? Gone. He's way over there now.
Yeah, he'll be alright. It's a little jungle.
Yeah.
He'll find his way out.
All I'm going to say, I can't believe this piece of crap pulled the balancer off. It's not a balancer, really. It's not a harmonic balancer, but yeah, this shitty little thing here moved it off. Look at that. So it's loose now, but I really can't believe that worked. Well, I just noticed too, I don't have a socket big enough to fit the flywheel socket, so I might just hit that with an air hammer. Not sure. What I mean is hit the edge of the bolt with an air hammer and see if I could get it to turn. But yeah, that came off easy. And scared to know what the filter is going to look like and shit, but that's why I brought it back to the dirty old barrel here, and we'll find out in a few minutes. Well, this don't look very good, so look at the slime. That is just over a 1/4 inch thick. Question is that magnetic? I'm going to guess so. I'm definitely guessing that's magnetic. But you know, an air-cooled engine, no oil filter. It also has a oil bath air filter, I should say. That might not be that bad, but at the same time, I'm going to see if that's magnetic. Well, so basically, I got all the bolts out, and I get a little bit of emulsion out of her, which means it was stuck on the bottom end, clearly. So, a little grimy in there, a little dirty, but I'm going to wait till tomorrow to pull it apart. I don't believe I have to pull out any of those guys, but everything seems to be loose. Again, it's been in years since I watched someone pull apart one of these engines. I haven't been this far myself. Again, anyone that's following my channel, I used to work at a Volkswagen shop that worked specially on these, and they tore apart tons of them. Do you think I could remember any of it? No. Do you think I could find a frickin' socket big enough? No. Even went through my old hoard pile of sockets there. Can't find anything. That's all full of random sockets too. It's like, man, that sucks. Well, I guess I can attempt to remove it with the flywheel still attached. So, I guess we'll see what's going to happen. Well, can't find a socket. Even if I find a socket, technically the engine is slightly moving now. You can see up to there, then it hits something because it's cranked loose. But, you know, those guys are like 250 foot-pounds. So even if I find it, chances are I won't be able to hold the flywheel. They do, of course, make a special tool that bolts on a torque multiplier, but I don't have one. What a pain in the ass. And one thing I should mention is the reason I didn't remove the pistons, of course, is because they were stuck. And they were stuck down, so there would have been no play, possibly no play. If I would have hammered on the piston to get out the pin, I probably would have broke the side of the case, which is probably going to be bored anyway, possibly. Maybe not. We'll see. I think this is a 1300, and pretty sure I can go up to 1600 cylinders on it without boring. And of course, I just got a message popping up that's important. Well, they sure come out a hell of a lot easier when you can turn the engine. Just use my socket, put it through there, held the piston. Well, on this side it was a little harder to hold it because it was lower, but I wedged the cloth in there so it wasn't pushing on the rod. Okay. And sure enough, it dropped back down, didn't it? Yeah, a little bit, but should be able to pull it off with 2 hands, but pulling it off with 1 hand. I see one of the lifters already dropped in, but whatever. I lifted out no problem once I got that off, but look at the carnage in the bottom there. You guys see that? No? How about now? You guys see that? There's definitely a pile of metal in the bottom there. I wonder if that metal just happened from me smashing off the cylinders. That's probably what it is. Zoomed in for probably that whole thing. I don't even know how much you guys seen, but Zoomed in since I was looking at that metal in there, but oh, that guy seized. Oh, yep, that rod is stuck. Oh, what? Oh, no, it wasn't stuck. It shouldn't have been hitting the wall there. It is dry. I don't know. We'll figure it out in a bit. Well, I'm running out of footage on my phone. First time in forever, but yeah, this cam here, man, it's pretty nice. Like, I don't see anything wrong with it. Looks perfect. One little tooth here had a little bit of pitting on it, just at the one side. I'm not sure how well that's going to show up there, the inside part of the tooth, but I mean, that's not too big of a deal. Only bad thing is I got 3 good cams, I believe, up there, so I'm going to measure this guy out and find out. Again, when it comes to Volkswagen stuff, you never know what stock, what someone changed over the years. Normally they are stamped on the other case. If anyone did any machining, a lot of times they'll stamp them under the oil cooler right there. But I never even bothered looking yet, but we'll see. So again, those chunks of metal, I'm going to pull them out with a magnet real quick. And I'm pretty sure, well, it's all aluminum chunks. I'm pretty sure that's from me bashing the cylinders apart. And of course, where did the center of the piston go, right? Because it's all aluminum. There's no metal there, or the magnet would have picked it up. So yeah, this one's stuck freaking solid. Not stuck, stuck, not stuck. So I got 2 stuck. Is that cracked? No, that's not cracked. Well, it looks like it just, you know, might have needed to soak in some oil, but of course, after bashing off the pistons the way I did, I knew I had to split it because I knew damn well there was no way to get that metal out of there. Well, a lot of dirt bikes and ATVs going around today. But of course, that's what you get when you live in an off-road park. For someone that doesn't have any real fun off-road vehicles, that kind of sucks. But just got the last piston in out, just wedged it underneath the board there, that way I'm not hammering on the rod. Extension worked good. I'm surprised it actually came out pretty good. Ooh, that one has a nice hole in it, hey? That's from getting the cylinders off and unsticking them. I do got 1 good piston, 1 good cylinder, 1 good head. So okay, got the crank zip tied in place, so I'm going to flip it. Been catching all the metal, and then we'll see what shape it looks like. Okay, so just checking over things again. None of those seem to have too much play, but of course they're all going to come off. Make sure none's cracked, none's bent. Well, we even use this. It is an early one, crank, but I have to pull that key, distributor shaft gear. Dirty, but a little pitting maybe there, but that looks good. Looks good in here too. Already popped it up a bit, but it's dirty. Has a lot of dirt shoved in there, so try to get that out in a bit. That's just stuck and stuck. There's a lot of sand that got pushed in the push rod tubes, so makes sense there why that would be stuck. As for the bolts that hold the cylinders on, I'm just double checking nothing's cracked. They're known to crack, of course, on, I guess it would be the last few cylinders here. But no, what's left is to clean. I kind of wish I had my pressure washer set up. That would sure make fast work of this. Okay, so again, just took a peek. I don't see anything broken. Studs still in place on the rear. Rear main bearing is stuck on the crank. That's why I had to crack the case loose. So is it stuck from sitting or did it blow? Hard to say. All the pins are still here. This one I haven't popped off, but I mean the bearing's in place. It's probably going to be perfectly fine. So looks like definitely could be maybe tossed back together. like very cheaply. Going to guess that is this, of course, main bearing right here. Flywheel side, don't roll on my feet. I got steel toe boots, but I'm going to guess it's that guy right there that locked up and held up the entire engine. Of course, right now, I'm going to just let it sit and soak for a bit, and I'll go from there. Well, even though this engine here doesn't seem to be that bad, I went to pick up another one. Sitting on the back of the truck right now. This one here seems to be actually in pretty decent shape. It's been sitting since the 1980s. Guy removed it from the bug because he got a 1600 engine. And this one is locked up, of course, but he did not try to break it free. So it's just sitting there with the groceries. So this one is complete. The exhaust, he just took that off because he found a buyer for it. So you can see it's been sitting. And of course it's locked up, but it's complete. And seeing that everything looks like it's complete on it, I'm guessing it's going to be in a little bit better shape. We'll see. And it came with a set of J-pipes. I guess that's what you would consider them. He thinks this one's a 1200, but I didn't look up the number or anything yet, so I'll do that in a few minutes. Well, it definitely has water in the oil, because that smew of stuff right there just came off the dipstick. Yummy. No, not really. But the tins look to be in much better shape than mine. Decided this time to do that because it was starting to bubble and I was working on it. So poked a little hole in the top, and hopefully this way the oil will drain into it. I never had it opened, but just one little hole. That's all I want. Maybe I'll make it a little bit bigger. And again, this is just going to be like a tear down table. You know, works. Why not? Okay. Can't see shit because the door is open. But kind of made it fun backing in here, so she's a little crusty. She's a little full of spider webs. So I don't know a little bit more, but at least this one's nice. Like all the tins look good. None of this is rotted out yet. I mean, it still has spark plugs in it. Fuel pump's gone, which is probably where water got down into it from, right here. There has been a socket on here at one time to try to turn it, but I mean, turning it on the front crank doesn't do too much versus turning it on the back. So it doesn't look like a pry bar has been on here. A little bit of chewiness on the ring gear there, but overall it looks pretty good. I'm going to probably say that the rear main seal was leaking on this engine possibly, but oh, looks pretty good. Okay, so first thing to do is pop off these guys. See how rusty they are. If it was like the other one, go, ah, shit. Wow, look at this original wiring. Yeah, she's a little crusty in here. Random junk stuck on it. Old plug wires. Plugs feel tight. So shut this off for a bit because with the door open it's probably so bright you guys can't see shit all. Okay, so I got the spark plugs soaking with some penetrating oil. We got to get a little bit more in there. And yeah, looks like I was running out of a can, so not quite enough in there, but actually overall this is so much cleaner compared to the other one. I'll probably take this guy off in a second, the housing. Believe it or not, in there actually is pretty good in the points. So I'm actually surprised. So the plug wires, I'll probably remove those. Maybe I'll leave them on here. Maybe I'll just see. If I get it spinning over, you know, it might be worth trying. it's still on there solid. Just taking a peek here, make sure there's no bee's nest, because, you know, leaving it in the garage overnight. It's already loose there. Yeah, everything seems to be in way better shape compared to that stuff. Okay, so I'm going to search the engine model number in a few minutes here. I'm just still taking a peek. It's the older style single relief, I'm sure of it case. Because it came off a swing axle, but that doesn't mean the engine wasn't changed. Okay, what do we got here? Interesting. Oh, it's a WF. Why is WF stamped down there? Interesting. Huh. Well, I just spent a while trying to see if that WF underneath there makes any difference, and it doesn't seem to do it. There is another slight logo there, but looks to be just a standard 1200, so no big deal. Well, it's been about an hour since I sprayed down the spark plugs. That one there seemed to turn pretty good, so I got a quarter turn, like easy, left it, sprayed it again. That guy was pretty tight, got a little bit of a turn, sprayed it, leaving it, and that one there extremely tight. That one there got a little bit of a turn, nothing out of that guy yet. I know most people install Healy coils anyway on them, but I prefer, if I could get them out, not to do that. So I'm going to let them soak a little bit longer. It's something to be expected, and you see some of the bolts are missing. And I've been looking at this carefully here, and this tin here has been repainted before. So someone has been in here at one time, which could be a bad thing or could be an awesome thing. I guess I'll have to wait to find out. Okay, still tight. They are moving, but I'm talking about 40 to 50 pounds of force to get them to even move. So I moved them both 1/8 a turn, sprayed them down again. These two came out, and no rust on them at all. Inside the cylinders look to be actually very good on this side. Interesting, Healy coil already. So this one here has a Healy coil already installed. This side does not, but the threads don't look the nicest. This looks like a unbrand Bosch spark plug. Very rusty. Could be original maybe. Auto light. But interesting, yeah. So this one already has a Healy coil. Anyone owns a Volkswagen, that's very popular to have to do that, and that could be why these two are tight. Some Healy coils, once you put them in there, they really bite. So, and interesting. So this one here has original looking spark plug, and this one's an auto light. So the two flywheel side have auto lights. Interesting. Okay, so I kind of think I should have left them a little bit longer, but when they came out good. This one does have quite a bit of rust on it. Is that going to not focus now for me? There you go. You can see the rust and corrosion on that guy. Inside the hole, I don't know if there's any spark plug threads left on that guy. Next one, I see some threads. And I don't see no threads on that guy. Doesn't mean they're not there. Someone could have Loctited that plug in possibly. So inside this one here, threads look good on both of them. I sprayed some oil in that one for now. You can see that someone did put a socket on it here to attempt to turn it. I have not attempted to turn it yet because I want to get the cylinders oiled up first. But, so far, it's a lot better than I was expecting, you could say. Thought I'd film this in case it was anywhere near as bad as last side. There's like nothing that comes out of this one. Should have seen the last one. Literally so much crap out of it. Yep, definitely needs new J pipes. That's for sure. Okay, let's see if some oil got down into here. Nope. Ooh, there's a little cruddy in there. open this guy up. And, ooh, she has had some blow-by issues for a while. She's a little chunky in there. So the idea is to pretty much pull these guys off now, check them, check for a rodent nest in there before I go too much farther, and just waste a whole can of penetrating lube. Now, do I use the PB or do I use the Harvest King? I think she'll prefer the blaster. Not too sure yet. We'll see. That's not too bad looking. So this is the rusted cylinder here. A little bit of gravel and sand in the bottom there. Pop those off in a few minutes. This side here looks a lot nicer. I think the head gasket's blowing on this cylinder because when I look with my camera up there, you can see a little bit of black on one of the rim fins, but I mean, hard to say. Don't know yet. Again, I don't want to force it just yet. I want to spray everything down and let it sit for a bit. And when I say a bit, I mean I'm going to spray it down and I'm going to let it sit till next weekend. That's my plans anyway. Well, I only had about a liter of diesel fuel, so dumped in a little bit down the intake and a fair bit down there. And hopefully that could soak into all the bottom end bearings because, like I said, this guy here, this bearing here was pretty locked up on it. Look at this seal, by the way. There's no spring left in that seal. Like, nothing. This guy, oh, this one just started turning just by sitting. So that was stuck before. This one here, yeah, that guy's still stuck. But it never spun, like in the case. I'm glad I didn't try forcing it because it might pop free, but it might have wrecked it too at the same time. And it's been about an hour. Now I'm giving it a little tip because I want all that to get up to the front crank bearing. I'm going to tip it backwards too after. You can hear it going into the barrel, so that's good. So on the other one, hey, look, painted springs. New clutch. I don't even know how to pronounce that, but Smurfin fruit? I don't know. Smurf, I don't know. F and H or F and S. I sprayed a little bit of oil on these bolts already for when I go to break them loose. So a couple drops there missed, but that's not too big of a deal. And the reason why I'm doing this here is I wanted to see, this is all from me spraying, and it looks to me like he has not had the oil plug drain loose. Possibly not. Possibly someone took a torch to it at one time because there's no grease or oil on that bolt. So it might have been very, very tight at one time. Really hard to say. But now I got to tip it back the other way. Kind of wish I had a proper rotation engine stand because I would just rotate the engine with oil in it and go from there. But I don't. I thought I had one in the city somewhere, but I mean, the can works for now. Go in the garbage, exhaust. Now I'll try to tip it back onto its clutch side, and hopefully that can oil up the bearing. I did dump some oil down in there too at the same time as I put some diesel fuel, but I mean, I should have technically, if I was smart, I would have took the diesel fuel, dumped it into the oil container to make some very watery ass oil. Like 2-weight, 3-weight oil, then dumped it in. That would have been better. Well, good news is the alternator is not stuck. I did technically spray penetrating oil down into it, but she's not stuck. I'm just going to remove the belt real quick. Wow, just got this in the mail. This should solve my lighting issue in the garage. Look at the size of this freaking thing, hey? Even has bulbs on the bottom. This will have its separate video, but huh. Wow. It does come with paperwork. Well, I know I'll look at it later. I can hang it from the ceiling. That is pretty sweet. Even has a plug outlet. Huh, so I can daisy chain them. Wow. $250 watts of power, hey? Yeah. That is going to be freaking amazing in the garage. Just at work right now.